Hey guys, sorry I kind of look like crap today. I've been studying pretty much since I woke up this morning, so I didn't get ready or anything. But since I've been studying, I thought it'd be a good idea to do a video on my favorite foreign languages learning materials, so like textbooks, study guides, stuff like that. So let's get started. Now the first one I have is the integrated Korean system. This is through the University of Hawaii. I have the first and second ones. I haven't gotten to this one yet because I actually just ordered these not too long ago. And I had a deal to get like both of them for cheap, so I did. And so far I really like them. I'm kind of a textbook learner. I do really well with very structured lessons, especially ones with workbooks. They're really useful. Can't really show you. They're really useful to like practice for me. I'm such a school person. I do really well in a classroom setting. So with self-studying, I try and bring the classroom into my room and bring in textbooks and stuff. So integrated Korean is pretty much the top-rated Korean textbook that I found from reviews online. I really like it so far. Yeah, it's my favorite Korean textbook. I don't really have any good study guides I've found yet. I haven't been looking very hard because I found these to be very sufficient in explaining the grammar and such. But if I find one, I'll tell you guys. Next is integrated Chinese system. Now this system my school uses. The Korean, my school doesn't have a Korean program, so that's all self-study. But my school uses this system. Here's the textbook and the workbook. I had the character workbook, but I don't know where it is. My room's a huge mess right now, so it's probably buried under all my other books. But this is another one of the top-rated ones. It's tongue and seat, and it's pretty good. Like I've had no complaints with it so far. It's very clear at explaining stuff. Has a lot of activities and reading parts, reading sections, as well as a dialogue at the beginning of every chapter. So and also there's some great like online stuff for this, like videos on YouTube that are connected to the program, so you can like see the dialogues like spoken and stuff like that and act it out. They're really cheesy, but it's helpful for learning. As for study guides, I have one and it's up there, and it's side-by-side Chinese and English grammar. I haven't used it much because this is pretty useful for that. I'm able to understand grammar very well through this, but if there's ever any times where I'm kind of shaky on something, I just look it up in there. Now it does use simplified characters, and I'm planning on going to Taiwan, so I'm going to have to learn traditional characters, but I have a few Taiwanese friends, so they've been helping me out with learning the simplified and traditional characters, so yeah. Next I have probably a crowd favorite for Japanese, and that is the Genki series. I also have this is done by the Japan Times. I also have the next level up from this, which isn't actually part of Genki. It's an integrated approach to intermediate Japanese, and that's like the next level up from this book. And that one's really good. It's very difficult at first and pretty boring, but it's a very good book. It is so useful at explanations, and the Japan Times are very organized. This is the workbook as well as the textbook. I had the first one too, but my boyfriend has it because I'm teaching him Japanese. But they're really, really structured. Like they have, in the beginning they usually have a dialogue, and that's usually followed by tango list, so like vocabulary, and that's followed by bunpo, grammar, and then that's followed by like practice and activities to really set it in, and then these follow along very well. Let's see if I can show you something like lots of tables. Now, some people find this whole table and repetition thing really boring. I really function well with it. I need to have a lot of tables and charts because I'm kind of a visual learner, and if it makes more sense that way to me. But yeah, I haven't met anyone who does not recommend the Genki series. It's really good. It's probably the best I've used. My school actually does not use Genki. They use Nakama, which is pretty bad. Like, I mean, it's not super bad, but it's not very good at explaining things. It's very unorganized, and they don't use kanji enough. They only use the kanji that they've taught you. Meanwhile, in Genki, and the intermediate approach to integrated approach to intermediate Japanese, they use kanji, even the ones that you haven't used, and then they introduce them in the vocabulary list, which is so good. They have furigana, so you can like read it, but it's awesome because you learn more kanji that way. Like, I've learned so much kanji from Genki as compared to Nakama. I don't really recommend Nakama. I don't know many people who do. If you're going to self-study, don't bother. Don't even leave Nakama alone. It's okay in a classroom situation if you have a teacher to explain stuff to you. But it will not really work for for self-study. It's just not very useful. Another one I have, now the best Japanese study guide I have is Japanese the Manga Way. I love this book. My grandma actually got this for me years ago when I first started studying Japanese before I entered college, and it's so good at explaining grammar and really putting it into kind of real life situations. Like, not in textbooks you always get like, Mary said this, or Mary went to the park, what did she do after, and like really kind of stale, boring sentences that you wouldn't really say. Meanwhile, these ones have really funny things. Like this one is Papa, Yuji-san kyou osoku naru tte. This is like, Dad, Yoji says he's going to be late today. So, I mean, that's kind of something you would actually say. Well, I mean, probably not to your dad if your dad doesn't speak Japanese, but like saying someone said that they're going to be late or something like that. I mean, this has got like a lot more kind of realistic Japanese that you don't really get in textbooks, because manga tends to have a lot more character as well as dialects and stuff. So I really recommend this as a study guide. It's not really good as a standalone book, because it doesn't go over like writing and vocabulary that much, but it's so good as a study guide. Now, for German, I actually don't have the textbook. It's on my Kindle, and I don't really see the point of holding up my Kindle. But I have the Kontakte Textbook, which is okay. I mean, a lot of people like it. It's just not really my style. It's more of it's more of an instant immersion type book, so like 90% of it is in German. Even like the explanations of grammar can be in German, the directions are all in German, which is great if you know German. If you're like a 101 student who doesn't know much German except for like wo bist du or like was ist der Zeit, then you're going to be confused. And that's the only book that I've really found. All the other books I look up, people say are really the same. I don't know if it's just the way people teach German, but this instant immersion thing seems really popular. It's not like my Japanese or Korean or even my Chinese textbook where they really give you a side-by-side and lots of charts. I love charts. That's how I learn. But I mean, it's okay. I definitely need a lot of study guides for it. Like, I have, what is it? I don't know I can't see the publisher from down here, but I have the German Grammar Drills Workbook and the German Verb Drills Workbook, which are kind of like, they really beat it into your head, all the different German rules, which there's a lot. And then another one I really like is German Verbs and Essentials of Grammar. this has lots of charts, and this helps me kind of really get into the chart thing and be able to learn pretty well, and it explains it in English, so that way I can understand how to do it. That way I'll be able to do it. Yeah, the whole instant immersion thing doesn't work very well with me. Otherwise, I'd be fluent in Japanese by now from when I was in Japan. But yeah, I really need to study foreign languages. But those are my favorites. I have a ton more study guides from all the other languages I've learned, or have been like trying to learn, but kind of put on the back burner for these languages. Some of those are, let me see, my language section is up the top shelf. I don't know, here. It's right up there where that big dictionary is. So I've got Chinese, Japanese, German, Slovak, French, Dutch, Arabic, and I think that's it. So yeah, I have a lot of different study guides. I showed you probably like 1/5 of the ones I have, maybe even less than that. Probably like 1/10 of the German book, not German, study guides I have. So I think I'll do like some reviews on my favorite ones and some that I don't really think are worth the money. But yeah, thanks for watching. Awkward ending. Bye.